is Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach. And it's time for another First Lady Coach moment. Yes, happy Sunday to everybody. Once again, this is Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach. And I equip seasoned pastors' wives to have that authentic and harmonious life by having the clarity, the confidence, and the courage to stand on your own platform. Hello, hello, hello. And again, it is Sunday. I am just getting off the road. Had a wonderful trip to Tulsa, Oklahoma to visit my sisters. It was July birthday for my sister, my brother-in-law's. So I got a chance to go to Oklahoma this weekend. I had to leave the hubby behind because he couldn't take the week off. We have a lot going on at church. So anyway, got in my car, took a trip to Oklahoma, had a great time with my sisters and one of my best friends. And so I am happy to be home safely and I am grateful. So as you're coming in, say hello, let me know that you're there. And if you haven't granted permission to restream yet or to post your comments as your name, please do that. And if you're in my private group, you're able to do that. So again, hopefully everybody is doing well on tonight. Again, it is Sunday. I typically come out here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. So I am here and I am ready to get some rest tonight. Hanging out with my sisters, I tell you, they wore me out over the weekend, but that's what sisters are for, right? All righty. Okay, so I understand it's going to be hot in the area tonight. I mean, this week we are expecting like 104 record temperatures. Hopefully, wherever you are going to have some not as hot weather or as we're going to have. But you're not here to talk about the weather, right? You're here to hear all about the number one way to be valued as the pastor's wife. The number one way to be valued as the pastor's wife. Now you're probably wondering, what is she going to talk about? Well, let me tell you, in the years that I have been working with pastors' wives, and I tell someone that I am known as the First Lady Coach and that I equip seasoned pastors' wives to have that authentic and harmonious life by having the clarity, confidence, and the courage to stand on their own platform. People will respond in one of three ways. There are three ways people typically respond. Sometimes when I mention that I work with first ladies or with pastors' wives. Here's the three ways that again, in the years that I have been working with pastors' wives, these are the three ways that people typically respond, okay? And I not only know this from what I've experienced when I talk about serving pastor's wife, but I also have experienced this in my own life. And if you look very closely in the Bible at the women who are married to influencers, those who really called the shots in the Bible, they experienced many of the same things. So the three ways that I have found that people typically respond to the pastor's wife is number one, she is pitied. Number two, she is envied. Or number three, she is valued. Okay, so the three ways that people typically respond to the pastor's wife or the first lady is she is either envied, she is either pitied, she is either envied, or number three, she is valued. Let me give you some examples, okay? All right, so again, when I am speaking with others about the fact that I serve pastor's wife, the first thing they might say is, oh my gosh, I am so glad somebody is doing that because they need it or she needs it, talking about their own pastor's wife. Now, one thing I do want to tell you, if you are a person that is going to talk about your pastor's wife, I'm going to first of all tell you I have a problem with that. So please don't come to me to tell me about your pastor's wife, all right? Because I'm going to shut you down. But one of the things that I have found over the years is that people say, oh my gosh, I would never, ever want to be a pastor's wife. And if they say that, they probably shouldn't be one, okay? But when I can tell that somebody pities their pastor's wife, I hear things like, she just doesn't have a clue what's going on. She doesn't have a voice. She looks unhappy. Every time I see her, she looks unhappy. That poor woman. That's something I hear a lot. That poor woman. Or maybe she's sickly. Maybe she is overextending herself, running around the church like a chicken with her head cut off, trying to do everything. Or maybe this is one that I hear a lot. Maybe her husband is clowning, right? And everybody knows it, except they think that she doesn't know it. And that poor woman, her husband just does whatever he wants to do. Have you all heard any of these things? Have you heard any of these things said, especially when one pities who the pastor's wife is? In other words, they feel sorry for her, and they'll say things again like, I could never, ever be a pastor's wife because I would have to tell somebody off. Maybe it's the way that the church treats her. Maybe it's the way that her husband treats her. Maybe again, it's just because she doesn't have any confidence in who she is. So again, we just reviewed the first way that people typically respond to the pastor's wife, and that is they will pity her. In other words, they just simply feel sorry for her and just say she need help. Okay. All right. Secondly, the other way that people will typically respond again to their pastor's wife is they will envy her. They look at her, maybe she's got it all together, and the first thing they do is think that she thinks that she's all of that and a bag of chips, or that she thinks she's too good, or she's not approachable, or that she is, her head's up in the clouds. Have you ever heard those things said about a first lady or a pastor's wife? Or, she's looking good. She knows how to dress. She got it going on. She's confident in who she is. And typically when they can't find something to say about her, okay, they'll usually go in a couple of different ways. They'll complain about what she wears, what she says, or what she does. And most often I have found over the years, the number one reason why they envy her is because they think she has something that either they might want or that they can never have. Think about that. Now give me some amens out there if you're a pastor's wife, because you know that people want what you have, right? And it really comes down to, in most cases, when the pastor's wife or the first lady is envied, it's often due to jealousy. And there's no other way to describe it. It is often due to jealousy. So again, that is the second way that people will sometimes respond to the pastor's wife. Now remember, we're getting to that number one way for the pastor's wife to be valued. So again, the third way is that she's valued. She is appreciated for who she is. And I'll hear things like, oh my gosh, I love my pastor's wife. She is the bomb. She is the best. Oh gosh, I want to be like her. I appreciate who she is. I love the way she does this, or I love the way she dresses. So again, there are those who do value their pastor's wife. And I love it when I am valued for being who I am and not trying to be somebody else. I love it when somebody doesn't have to look surprised when I'm not dressed up, or that I might do a certain thing, or again, dress a certain way. I love it when I can just be myself. So when she is herself, when she is doing exactly what God created her to do, she is so often valued, not only from her by her husband, right? Her husband values her because he appreciates everything that she does to support him. She's also valued by her church family, by her children. She is valued. So have you heard over the years, if you talked about being a pastor's wife, have you heard things like, oh, you poor thing, girl, I couldn't be a pastor's wife? Or, oh, girl, you do this so well. Or, wow, I don't know how you do it, right? So there are different ways that people will respond. So did those make sense to you? That you are typically either pitied, or you are envied, or you are valued. So how does the pastor's wife become valued? let me share with you that number one secret, the thing that you have been waiting for through all of this I have been talking about. How can the pastor's wife, what is the number one way that she can be valued? All right. The number one way that the pastor's wife can be valued is that she knows how to leverage her position. Stay with me. Think about Esther. Think about Esther. Now, again, y'all know I'm going to bring up Esther because I do it all the time. Think about Esther, who we know she was pitied because she lost both of her parents, right, and had to go live with her cousin and had to be drugged to the harem to end up becoming queen, right? She was pitied. That poor child lost her parents, right? Had to be forced to do that, right? She was also envied. Think about all the other women who wanted to be in the contest to end up being the queen. I bet they were just like, how she get to be the queen, right? How did she, right? So they envied her, but they also value her. And how did they value her? Again, she leveraged her position. She knew by the time that God revealed it to her, she knew that she was the only one who could do what needed to be done. Now, think about that if you are a pastor's wife. If you know how to leverage your position, you know that there is something that only you can do because of who God made you to be and where He has placed you. And when you can surely be doing the very thing that you were created to do, then you are leveraging your position. God has put you in a position to be able to leverage your position. And again, don't take leverage wrong. Leverage is not taking advantage of a situation. Leverage is doing the very thing that only you can do. And when you leverage your position based on where God has placed you and what He has put in you, then again, all things work together for good. And you discover the very reason for which you were created. All right, makes sense. So again, that number one thing that you can do to be valued, just like Esther was, is to learn to leverage your position by learning why God put you where you are, learning why he put you in that very place, why He created you the way He created you, with attitude, personality, temperament, all the above, right? That is the number one way. So continue to follow me, Dr. Janice R. Love, because I help to teach you how to leverage your position. There's several ways you can follow me. You can visit my website, which is janicerlove.com or thefirstladycoach.com. Or if you are a pastor's wife, I invite you to join my private Facebook group, which is called More Than a Helpmate. Go out there, join my private Facebook group, because this is where I am teaching week after week how you can leverage your position. Then that way you have that authentic and harmonious life that gives you the confidence and the courage to stand on your own platform. All right. So again, feel free to join my Facebook group. It's private. All right. At More Than a Helpmate. All right, this is Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach, and I equip seasoned pastors' wives to have that authentic and harmonious life by having the clarity, the confidence, and the courage to stand on their own platform. Thank you all for joining me here on tonight. I come out every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, just to have a conversation, what I call First Lady Coach moment. So come on out and join me next Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Time, and let's have some conversations about how you can begin to leverage your position. All right, so that's all for tonight. But how's everybody doing out there? Let's see, Benita, thanks for joining in. Rita, thank you for joining in. And all those others who didn't quite identify yourself, let me know you're out there. Say hello. I love comments. My husband likes amens. I can have an amen on Sunday night, can't I? All right. But thanks again for joining me on tonight. Come back and see me next week. And I look forward to seeing you. Until then, have a wonderful evening and be blessed. Bye-bye.